Hello students, you're welcome to Whitsom University once again. This chapter we recorded everything before, but the volume was very bad, so we couldn't upload this class. So that was something that has to take a little bit of while to fix this problem. Okay, but thank God everything is fixed now. Let's move on quickly. This chapter will take a look at holistically the objectives. We'll be looking at defining the features of the 802.11 wireless LAN standard, also called the Wi-Fi. And also this one of the things we'll look at is to understand the components of the wireless LAN. Another thing we'll be looking at is to explore how wireless LANs are configured, and also examine how site surveys are done for the wireless LAN, and also to explore how to configure a point-to-point wireless LAN. And then so without much ado, let's begin to look at the subsection of the whole of the chapter. The section 4.4-1 is going to talk about the introduction, and then for part 2, chapter 4 part 2, we look at the IEEE 802.11 wireless LAN standard. Chapter 4 part 3, we look at the wireless networking. Chapter 4 part 4, we look at the Bluetooth WiMAs. We look at Bluetooth, we look at WiMAs, we look at RFID, we look at the mobile communications, and so on and so forth. Chapter 4 part 3, we look at configuring a point to multi-point wireless LAN, and we take a case study. And then chapter 4 part 6, we look at the troubleshooting wireless network. Okay, so the first part, which is the introductory part, examines the features and the technology that is used with wireless local area network, WLAN. You know, wireless local area network is called the WLAN. Okay, so we're going to examine the features and the technology that is used with the WLAN. Is that okay? So, and then wireless networking is also an extension of the computer networks into the RF, that's the radio frequency world. Okay, so the wireless networking is an extension of computer networks into the radio frequency world. Okay, we're going to talk about radio frequency extensively in later chapters. Now, the WLAN provides, that's the wireless local area network, provides increased flexibility and mobility. These are the two cognizant advantages of WLAN, wireless local area network. Okay, flexibility and mobility. For example, in a building, if you have a building and you're using a WLAN, and the building has different levels, let's say up to 7th floor, 10th floor, and so on and so forth. Maybe your company, your business has up to these floors. So you have a local area networks, which means that you can move. If you use a Wi-Fi, you can move from any of the floor with your laptop or with your any of your mobile phone or your pad from one level or one floor to another. So this flexibility and the mobility, it's an unbelievable advantage of WLAN that makes a wireless local area network a super advantage for usage. Now, a properly designed WLAN for buildings provides mobile access for users from virtually any location in the building. So there is a mobile access. You can access the Wi-Fi, and you can have Ethernet on your mobile devices or your pad or your laptop, and in any part of the building. Okay, the user doesn't have to look for a connection to plug into. You don't have to plug your device into any wall plates of a local area network, because this is a wireless local area network. And then also another thing we look at when we talk about wireless local area network is that we say that it is the expensive cost of pulley cable is eliminated, and installing cable and wall plates required for wired network are avoided or eliminated. In this case, you don't have to spend a lot of money to do cabling or installing the wall plates, what we call the network plates, what we call the wall plates, they're not required in the case of wireless network, or like in the wired network. Okay, but however, despite you're not going to spend money to install cable wall plates in your building, a network administrator must carefully plan the wireless local area network installation properly and have a good understanding of the issues of using WLAN, must have a good understanding of how WLAN operate and the technologies to use with it to ensure that the installation of the network is super reliable. So without this, you'll be dealing with a lot of issues with WLAN. You'll be dealing with a lot of issues. So you have to carefully plan the design, the installations, and you have to carefully plan which technology will be suitable for the area, the coverage area. You must look at the coverage area, which technology best suits or is suitable for this type of coverage area. So we have to, the administrator, the network administrator, as a graduate of this course, you should be able to carefully plan. You have to plan the wireless LAN, the installation process. You have to plan it properly, and you also have to have a good understanding of the issues that comes with the WLAN technologies. Okay, what technologies is suitable for certain area coverage, and so that you will ensure that the installation is super and unarguably reliable. Okay, so that's that for that. Let's move to the next one. Okay, still on the introduction, we're looking at the fundamentals of the IEEE 802.11. The fundamental of IEEE 802.11 wireless local area network standards are examined in the next chapter, or this same chapter, but the next section we call chapter 4 part 2. Okay, and this includes an overview of the wireless local area network concept. We look at the concept in the part 2, and we look at the terminology that is being used, and in there we will look at the frequency allocations for all frequency spectrum for networks. Okay, then we look at the spread spectrum communication as well in part 2. Okay, now the applications of wireless local area networks are presented in chapter 3 part 4. Chapter 4 part 3. So here we will be talking about the application of wireless local area network, and it includes a look at different types of the wireless local area network configuration, such as the point-to-point, the configuration type. We either do point-to-point or point-to-multi-point configurations. So we will look at this type of configurations. The point-to-point configuration in part 4 in chapter 4 part 3. We look at that. We also look at the point-to-multi-point configuration. Then we also look at we say anytime a signal is transmitted over the air or even through a cable, there is some chance that the signal can be intercepted. There is always a chance that this signal can be intercepted. So we look at the issues that comes with interception of signal when it's transmitted through the air or propagated through a wire. Okay, now let's in section 4, chapter 4, part 4, we will look at 3 wireless technologies, and we're going to be beginning to impart the computer network. We're going to look at the three types of wireless technologies that are imparting the computer network space. Now, this wireless technology include the Bluetooth. So we will study the Bluetooth technology. You see Bluetooth in your mobile device every time. We also have Bluetooth in your laptop. So you can use Bluetooth as a technology for wireless configuration. And we also go to look at the popular one, which is the WiMAX. And we also look at the RFID, which is the super one that is used with most networks. Then in chapter 4, part 5, we will present an example of configuring a wireless LAN to provide access for usage in a metropolitan area. We will give an example, like a case study, of a wireless LAN that can provide access for user in metropolitan area and big city area like Lagos, like New York, like London, like Kuala Lumpur, okay, like Vancouver in Canada, like Toronto, like Kelowna, like South Atlantic, like Liverpool, okay, like many of the big cities, like Bali, like Johor Bahru, many of the big cities. These are called metropolitan areas. So we're going to be looking at this as a case study and how this applies. There's chapter 4, part 6. We look at the troubleshooting, how we can solve problem when it arises with the wireless network. How to troubleshoot the problems when it arises from wireless network. So at the end of this program, or at the end of this course, you should be able to be a good system administrator that can solve problem as it arises with this case. So this part is called the introductory part, and it's holistically look at the WLAN and Wi-Fi. WLAN and Wi-Fi. This is what we have looked at. So thank you very much for your time for this first part. Thank you.